Hi guys, welcome to Miss Krumholz's art class. This is sort of an introduction to supplies and our first fun assignment that we're going to be doing this week. As far as supplies go, I want you to really just have very, very basic things, such as we can either do a sketchbook. So any 9x12 sketchbook will do, any brand is fine. Really sort of anything that's just white, plain paper, make sure it's not tracing paper. So anything that is 9x12 or 8.5x11 is totally fine. If you have one at home, reuse it, do not go out and buy one. If you don't have a sketchbook and you don't have the ability to go out and buy one, you can just use regular copy paper from the computer, it's fine. But I think it's easier to have the sketchbook so that you can have everything kind of consolidated into one book. This way you won't lose anything. The other thing I'm going to ask that you have is just, a pencil, a regular wooden pencil with an eraser and a sharpener. You can have, really anything. Hopefully you have these things at home, a sharpener. Any sort of eraser is fine, even if it's on the back of the pencil. You can have, if you already have shading pencils, those are great. If you don't have the ability to go out and buy a shading pencil, just any number 2 pencil. It is totally fine. Sharpies are really going to kind of come in handy for our curriculum this year. Thick or thin, color, black and white, or, black, whatever works for you. And then I always say a ruler, any sort of, I have a wooden ruler here. I also have a metal ruler and colored pencils. Colored pencils are huge. If you can get them, hopefully you can. So this is a really nice fancy pencil set. So this is Fantasia pencils. These I got from Blick, the art store. If you don't have the ability to do that, you could always just get, regular colored pencils, Crayola. Any colors are fine. So hopefully you have some of these supplies at home. I'm going to go back to my plain number 2 wooden pencil, nothing fancy. And you can purchase all of these supplies. I put them on the syllabus. You can really just purchase them. Amazon is probably the best place to go and the cheapest. You can go to a Dollar Tree. You can go to Staples. Will probably have a lot of these things. So whatever works for you. And like I said, probably majority of you have these at home already anyway. What we're going to start with this week is just sort of an introduction to allow me to get to know you better. So I posted a slide with hands for past, present, and future. And all this is going to entail is just an exercise to kind of get you thinking, again, to introduce you to me. And I want you to, on a white piece of paper, trace your hand. I'm actually not very good at tracing. Trace your hand with a pencil. Okay, try to do it neat. And then once you have your hand, I want you to think of it like this way: past, present, and future. Our past is going to be the thumb and the forefinger, past. Our middle finger is our present, and the ring finger and the pinky are our future. So what you're kind of thinking is, and you don't have to make a line dividing them, having images, shapes, symbols, things that represent all of these genres in your life. So obviously the future hasn't happened yet. But what I like to do, always before I do the artwork, is sort of brainstorm. What types of things remind you of your past or could symbolize a country that you were from or a person in your life, maybe somebody that passed away? Think about the things that happened in your childhood, experiences, and ways that you can symbolize that. Think about your present. So think about maybe some of the thoughts and things that are affecting you today. How can you symbolize that? And then for your future, and for really your present and your future, think about your hobbies. Think about things that are important to you. I know if I had you last year in 7th grade, we've kind of done this sort of brainstorming exercise before. And for your future, maybe think about where do you see yourself? Where do you see yourself in 20 years? Okay. And then I want you, once you brainstorm, you don't need to send me any of this. But once you trace your hand, you're going to start with the past, kind of add patterns and designs and things that remind you of your past. So, you know, if you were from, let's say, a different country, maybe you want to put that flag in there. Maybe you want to draw that in there. Maybe you want to add some patterns. Whoops, try to stay inside the hands. Think about ways that you can represent your past. For your present, think about, you know, maybe the state of the world, and, you know, maybe you want to do like a peace sign, something that might symbolize, you know, what's happening with the pandemic. Maybe you want to illustrate somehow how you're feeling. Think of things that you can put in sort of the present area, and they can sort of overlap. So let's say I did, you know, a design over here. It can go into the other areas of the hands. And then for your future, symbols of your future. Things that maybe you want to be a doctor, maybe you want to be a lawyer, maybe you want to be a teacher. Maybe you stick an apple in there as a symbol of, you know, being a teacher. So I want you to sort of fill up the hand in pencil first, and then hoping that you have a Sharpie or marker. I want you to go in and just sort of fine tune it. You can have negative spaces or areas that are just plain and empty. You can color those areas in, you don't have to. You can add colored pencils. You can really add any medium of your choice. Whatever you have available to you for right now is fine. And I posted kind of some samples that I saw online for you to sort of look at. So you can add color. You can keep it black and white. Really whatever suits you, but I would like it to look like a finished piece, meaning that, you know, your work is neat, hopefully neater than mine. Hopefully your work is neat, and hopefully you have some symbols and things that are happening. Some patterns you can fill up if you really can't think of symbols. You know, think of just different patterns maybe that you could fill it up with. You know, really any way to sort of make your hand reflect you and how unique you are. These would eventually get erased, but you want to put little notes in there to kind of give yourself a guide as to what fingers are what. So remember, for your past, it'll be your thumb and your forefinger. Your middle finger represents the present, and the pinky and the ring finger represent your future. So whichever hand, if I were to trace my right hand, these would be my past, my present, and my future. And if I use the other hand, it will look like this. So it depends on if you're a righty or lefty, really. But I want you to, your assignment for the week is to make your past, present, and future hand. Take a picture of it, send it in to me, and submit it on the Google Classroom under the folder that I've provided. And then in addition to that, take a look at the syllabus. And again, colored pencils, a regular plain pencil, a sharpener, a eraser, a Sharpie. It could just be in black. If you have other markers at home, that works as well. And ruler. And lastly, either just a really good supply of copy paper, or a 9x12 sketchbook. So this is just a sample of what one looks like. And again, you can get any of these supplies at Staples. Amazon is probably the best way to get these. You could also go to, there's a Blick store by Roosevelt Field in Long Island. Whatever works for you and your family. I'm looking forward to working with you guys this year, and I can't wait to see what we do together and what sort of creativity I can pull out of you. Email me with any questions. Good luck.